Sit down, old blue.
Kendra, I gotta go. I'll catch you later. Call me. Hi, I'm Bill Clinton. And this is George Bush here.
Hi, Val.
And we're here today to discuss the state of affairs in the United States now and in the future. Now, right now our country is in a bad place. The debt has climbed higher to more than $14 trillion, and that is unacceptable. The unemployment rates have gone up, they're at 8.7%, and that's just too high. These levels cannot continue to grow, they must stop. We must cut spending, and we must raise some taxes in order to stop the deficit from growing. One way we can do this is to cut spending in the military. The military is our largest expenditure nationally, and we can afford to spend less. We're America, and we must finish what we've started in the Middle East, but our economy needs to be the main focus. Your doctrine of preemptive strike, I like it. It's a good idea to get them before they get us, but we need to be able to pay for it before we do that.
In America today, it seems we're at a perpetual crossroads. It seems there is always an issue that we are facing head-on or just on the horizon. No matter what problems we face, I believe the American spirit will always persevere. The first and most important thing on our collective agenda is the economy. With unemployment remaining stagnant and the debt approaching its ceiling, we are on the brink of a national crisis, if not engaged in one already. As far as the general scope of things, our economy will soon be overtaken as the top dog by China. Very little is American made anymore, and manufacturing has left the main stage on the U.S. economy. If we restore private sector jobs, then our economy will start to rise again. I believe my stimulus package was a success as far as jump-starting the economy back to life, but now is the time to scale back government spending in key areas. One main one, though it pains me to say it, is the defense budget. With our current president's plan to boost troops in Afghanistan for the next year, followed by a drawdown, the money spent on Iraq and Afghanistan should decrease significantly. A few things that need careful evaluation are Social Security and Medicare. I understand they are necessary and they do a lot of good for a lot of people, but they take up so much room in our budget, they need to be slimmed down and privatized. For the debt ceiling, I believe we should raise it for 10 years as kind of a buffer zone, if you will. I recommend raising the debt ceiling to 17 or 18 trillion and decreasing it gradually back to the 14.3 trillion it is now over a 10-year period. In order to decrease the debt, we need to both cut back on spending and increase taxes. It will be hard for America, but I do believe we will persevere. Moving on to foreign policy, we must maintain good company and strong alliances with our allies. For our enemies, if you mess with the bull, you're going to get the horns. Preemptive strike is our policy. Governments need to understand that they cannot oppress their own people, and while this offends us and we'd like to see democracy and freedom prosper in the Middle East, we tend to take a non-interventionist standpoint. With an active foreign policy that is engaged around the world, I do believe we will persevere and will preserve our interests as well as foreign relations. I guess now is a good time to talk about the future, Bill.
Right. I think 5 years from now, we're going to see the budget is going to be balanced. It's all going to be back. I think Obama's plan is going to work, and he's going to get the money where it needs to go. And I think the war on terror, it's not going to be over, but we're going to be winning it, and then we can just focus on things on the home front, like social programs.
I agree with you there, Bill. As far as things overseas, I think that the Middle East will continue to cry out for freedom, and that we should stand with them every step of the way. And especially if anyone, especially Iran, tries to mess with us, that we use my Bush doctrine of a preemptive strike and take the first step with that. As far as on the home front, I would agree, not with Obama's plan, but with Paul Ryan's plan to cut spending, especially in some of the welfare programs. And I hope that'll return our budget to something that we can manage and that will lead us to decrease the debt over the years. So that's probably over the next 5 years. What do you think about the next 15 years, Bill?
I think in 15 years we're gonna be riding high. I think we will have all but eradicated Al Qaeda. I think while there won't be peace in the Middle East still, there's gonna be a lot more peaceful nations that are allies with us, and there'll only be a select few that we still have to worry about. And I think back home I think our economy is gonna be strong again. We're gonna be the best economy in the world.
I agree with you, Bill. I think the American spirit will triumph and eventually solve any of the problems that face us. But one thing we do need to worry about is China overtaking us on the global scale. We need to bring back American manufacturing jobs, and if we don't do something about that now with new initiatives and investments, and I would almost go ahead and say tax cuts by the government to corporations, we're not going to see a whole hell of a lot of growth there. And I think an effort needs to be made to make the economy better by focusing on the private sector. With the war on terror, it reminds me a lot of the war against communism in the 50s and 60s. It seems they're almost a shadow group and that they're everywhere around the world. And it's like, how do you fight the shadows? But I think if we make an effort to secure the homeland first and stop them in their tracks before they get to attack us, I think that's the best course of action.
I'd also like to say that I think we're gonna have a strong push towards education. We're gonna reform that system and get it working, and us Americans are gonna be smart again.
That's right. Education is key, Bill, because knowledge is power.
I think 25 years down the road, we're gonna have doctors with medical advances all over the place, and just our education reform is just gonna take off.
Yes.
It's gonna be good in 25 years.
Yeah. 25 years down the road, we will be facing some unforeseen things that we can't predict now. Things kind of ebb and flow socially, as far as like the 60s compared to the 70s, the 80s compared to the 90s. Things always tend to be trending towards the more liberal and kind of more free and open-minded, and I hope that our government can accommodate for that, and while preserving its moral integrity. So that's my opinion as far as socially in 25 years. As far as abroad in 25 years, it's kind of hard to predict that far into the future. We would like to hope that all sorts of radical Islamic jihad has been eradicated through consistent foreign policy based on freedom and democracy, but that's just kind of my prediction of the future there.
I would agree.
This concludes our segment on what America will be like in the future, and we thank you all for your viewership.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Come on, Blue.
So is that a new horse there? Did you just get him?
Yeah.
All right.